This is the day that the Lord has made. I shall rejoice and be glad in him. Alvin Daniels Jr., we rise on this morning to give God the honor, the praise, and the glory. For we realize, we recognize, and we hereby testify that God alone is worthy to be praised. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, our devotion comes to us out of John's Gospel, chapter number 9. On this morning. John's Gospel chapter number 9 shows and displays the sovereign power of God. If you need a tag and a title for this Monday morning's devotion, it would be God is working it out. What you mean, preacher? Here's what I mean, that everything happens for a reason. Everything exists for a reason. If you look carefully through the lens of eternity, and through the providential will of God, you'll know that everything happens for a reason. God is working it out. There's a man in this text, he was born blind. The disciples thought that something was wrong with that, so they looked to Jesus to ask Jesus the question, who did sin? This man or his parents that he was born blind? You see, we always look for reasons and excuses as to why certain things exist. You got to know, you got to understand that God is sovereign, that there are things that exist, although we may disagree with it, we may not like it, it may be against us, it may be challenging for us, but it exists for the purpose of God pulling out glory out of the situation. Jesus said, neither has this man sinned, nor his parents, that he was born blind, but that the works, watch this, of God might be made manifest in him. See, God will put something in you that may be problematic, but it's all for the glory, the honor, and praise of God. And when they understood this, and when Jesus told them that this has something to do with eternity, with the providence of God, that inside of this man was a work of God that Jesus needed to discover or to reveal, so God will pull the cover off of certain things in life, also that God can get the glory. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, you have some of your issues for a reason. You have some of your problems and your plights for a reason. It's because when God squeezes you out of your life, out of your circumstances, and the speculation and the controversy that your circumstances sometimes bring to the fore, God is getting some glory out of the situation. Job said it like this: out of all my appointed days, I'm just going to wait for my change to come. In other words, I got a situation, I don't like it, curse the day that I was born, but God is doing something bigger than me. You got to understand that all things do work together for good, for them that love the Lord, and watch this, and are called according to his purpose. We have to oftentimes submit and yield to the purpose of God. It's not about us. We should not throw pity parties. We should not be crying and pouting and complaining about the circumstances of our life. We got to really accept them as the will of God, try to do the best we can with what we have, but submit and surrender our circumstances to God, because it's out of those circumstances that God is able to get some glory. If you don't believe me again, go to John chapter number 11. There's Lazarus. He's sick. This sickness is not unto death. He has a problem, but it's for the glory of God. You see, you can't call him Jehovah Rapha until you've been sick on your sick bed. You can't call him Jehovah Nisi until you have a battle on your hand. You cannot call him Jehovah Shalom unless you have some calamity, some controversial situation where God needs to step in and speak peace to your situation. So we know God, who he is, his power, through the very circumstances of our life that sometimes we disagree with. So in short, God is working it out. Pray about it, talk to the Lord in prayer, meditate, but please know that God is working it out. I know it's heavy, I know it's difficult, I know it's hard to lift, but God is working it out. I want to talk to the people over there in Parkland, Florida, right here in sunny South Florida. We had a tragedy. I want to tell them, the mothers and the fathers and the relatives and all of the teachers, all of those that have been affected, those who have been impacted by the situation, I don't know. I don't have all the answers, but I do know that God is working it out. He sits high, but he looks low. And let's give glory for the almighty will of God, because God is working it out. Till next time, God is good all the time. And all of the time, God is showing up good. Be blessed.